Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second part of our broadcast. We've been having some technical difficulties with our server, or our router rather, and we're back up and running. Thank you. Today is a dedication to the memory of our late President John F. Kennedy. Many people don't realize, but that fateful day that he died was the beginning of what apparently is the control of our government by corruption, thuggery. And this sign typifies all of that. The people who got him killed are still in power in America. Until and unless those people are imprisoned, America won't ever be free. I don't believe that the Warren Commission report came up with the lone assassin properly. I don't think they followed procedure. I know for a fact they didn't include Lee Harvey Oswald's history with the CIA when analyzing exactly who he was. And even people like John Kerry have openly stated that they believe that more than one person was involved. Now, I've got a picture of his admission, that John Kerry's admission, that he thinks more than one person was involved, just to make sure that you know what I'm telling you is true. Here he is.
That he was motivated by himself. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody else was involved. I don't go to the Oswald acted alone.
Where do you come down on the conspiracy theories?
To this day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Really?
I certainly have doubts that he was motivated by himself. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody else was involved. I don't go down that road with respect to the grassy knoll theory and all of that. But I have serious questions about whether they got to the bottom of Lee Harvey Oswald's time and influence from Cuba and Russia.
There you have it, influence from Cuba and Russia. So Lee Harvey Oswald was, in fact, an agent for the CIA for 4 years, worked on a plan to kill Fidel Castro, who is apparently still alive. I don't know, I haven't seen Fidel lately, but that, bear in mind, it has a huge, major question mark about what's going on here with the investigation. We need to reopen the Warren Commission. We really do. We also need to reopen an investigation into the 9/11 attack and the commission and their assessments. So obviously we've got people that are hiding within the shadows of corruption in our government that are purposely rigging the government so that they win and you get nothing. Bus driver asked children, "Are you ready to die?" before crashing. The driver behind the wheel of a Tennessee school bus that crashed and killed 5 people asked the kids if they're ready to die as he sped along a Chattanooga road, according to a report. So he literally went crazy, this driver, and put all these children at risk, 5 of which dead. The mom, who had 3 students aboard the bus, one of whom died, told CBS News that Jonathan Walker asked the chilling question seconds before the yellow bus slammed into a telephone pole and a tree. How in the hell did this guy get a job as a bus driver? For that matter, if we're that hard-pressed to get somebody to drive our buses for our kids, they may want to stay home 1 day a week. You know, a 4-day work week might be in order, too.
Tragedy in Tennessee. At least 6 children dead after a horrific school bus crash in Chattanooga.
The driver, 24-year-old Jonathan Walker, arrested and charged overnight with vehicular homicide. The mangled bus wrapped around a tree with dozens of elementary school students inside.
I need a unit to come up here, 2 units, stand by these kids so they don't walk off, the ones that are injured.
Kelly Wright is here at the breaking developments on this. Kelly?
Good morning to you. The school bus was packed with children when it crashed, and sadly, multiple children lost their lives in that horrific crash. 35 children from Woodmore Elementary School were on board this school bus when it veered off the road, flipped over, and wrapped around this tree. 5 children were killed at the scene. The district attorney says another died at a local hospital. It took hours to remove all those who were stuck inside the twisted and mangled wreckage. 23 students were taken to the hospital in all. fall. Some students were actually able to walk away from the crash. One child who survived blames the bus driver.
He wasn't paying attention. He was going real fast.
A 24-year-old man who was behind the wheel of the bus is now under arrest and cooperating with police. Investigators suspect speed may have actually contributed to the crash. He now faces multiple charges.
Oftentimes I mute my mic because it gives you a better, clearer sound, and it's just my way of helping you. Sorry, but the mic was muted. I really believe that our system is breaking down, and it's not getting any better. It's just an absolute disaster that this guy even got hired. We never got anything from Soros. I have no communication with George Soros and never plan on it. Trump is already sold out. He won't prosecute Hillary. He's already said now publicly that he's not going to pursue a case against Hillary. He lied about wanting to put her in jail. You can't see Trump flipping left and right. No, Trump doesn't have a plan for crime in the USA. Trump never even addressed brutality in the cities of America. I've never received anything donation-wise from secret societies. I get no connection whatsoever. And our efforts have been undaunted. No, he doesn't have a plan for crime in America. More of a police state. Deportation forces, that's all I've heard. I'm testing the waters with my response whenever I get out of a video. Yeah, now Trump wants to keep Obamacare. Let's sit around and talk about it, guys, seriously. I mean, even if you're a Trump supporter who wrote him in, who voted for him, feel free to talk about your disillusionment right now. I want to hear your perspective because, I had to report 2 different cases on a tweet today where Trump is pulling all kinds of shenanigans. He's essentially saying he's not going to prosecute Hillary. Absolutely not. And he's going to make sure the Attorney General doesn't prosecute her either, which actually is illegal for the executive branch to tell a secretary or any one department what to do. So the Secretary of Defense can't be told. He has to make decisions. Similarly, the Attorney General has to make decisions on their own. It should be an independent position where if there are crimes being committed by Hillary, we need to get them put to the forefront. If Trump's dropping it all, it shows that he's truly a puppet of the New World Order, the same group that got Hillary out there. I've been saying that all along. I don't allow the N-word in here, so I've been asking this person to not do it. I will ban that person, showing you I'm banning their guest chat. I'm banning a lot of people in that same IP sector, by the way. But we're trying to shut down any use of the N-word here. Yep, we're trying to minimize it. Well, I don't know if we can arrest anybody for the death of John F. Kennedy at this point, but the stories go deep. If you want to look at George H.W. Bush's involvement, it's pretty obvious he was at the grassy knoll, or excuse me, at the site of the president's death. There's a picture of George H.W. at the Kennedy assassination. People believe it's him. He was in charge of the Dallas Bureau of the CIA at the time. And this image is very well known. There's a couple of pictures that bring you close to it, but this is perhaps the best one. His traditional, the way he wears his suit or wore his suit. Now, he's still alive. We could talk to him about it. But of course, he's not going to reveal, he was involved. What happened was there were a number of gangs, mobs that were there at the Dallas location, shooting from various angles. Many people believe that this is George H.W. at that site, and that the picture reveals his face. traditional, exactly the way he dressed at the time. So anyway. No, I never received anything from Soros. I told you that. Dave's Trump impersonation was terrible. That's a bannable offense. You just got banned, Valaruko. Yeah. I never professed to have a Trump impersonation. I don't really want to impersonate this guy. I'm nothing like him. Yeah. Profanity violations are out of control, I know. I would love to be able to trim the room and make it seem just pretty and perfect. Let's just go to guest chat off for a while, okay? There you go. I do. I take criticism in stride, but I'm going to ban every time you come in under various names. This is, by the way, the Nazi. He comes in under different names now. He has about 40 accounts. So let's talk about this in terms of Alex Jones right now, okay?
Okay, everybody. We're looking at a retrospective of John F. Kennedy and his efforts as an individual to pass Executive Order 111110, which automatically tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve. And the power brokers, the Venetian royalty, allowed the entire plan to take out this guy and leave us with this thug government.
All right. I'm sure he was on the red list. Yeah. John F. Kennedy was a hell of a man. Flanker. Right on, man. Well, you know, I'm not the only person who was deeply affected by the loss of this president. You know, there have been a lot of people who look back and said, why can't we just resurrect somebody in his stead? But it's not going to happen that easy. You see, this guy had his entire presidency handed to him on a platter. His father was a corrupt bootlegger. I mean, Joe Kennedy was absolutely the most corrupt guy out there. He was a mobster. So they put the son of a mobster in the presidency. It just turned out that this guy had ethics and morals. And you could argue he had sex with Marilyn while he was married to his wife. I don't know if that's true or not. You could argue he had sex with every woman who came in and went into the wine rack, and he had a 15-minute quickie with them. I don't know if that's true. It's been said that he had, lots of that. But somewhere down deep, this man put his life right out in front of you and said, hey, we're going to try to make this better. And he really did. And he inspired the American people. And we've lost such a great, great president. In retrospect to where we're at now, we have this guy who just tells people what they want to hear to get elected, and then he flips on every single subject. Nobody in the history of American politics has been like Trump. Nobody. Yeah, so I mean, yes, his father got him elected. So this is the deal. If you've got a situation where you get a really good person who really did care, he inspires a deep-seated love for the country. Hello, all great Americans. Donald J. Trump is here, 2016. Hey, Don, how you doing? You want to talk? We unbanned you the other day. You want to pipe in on a couple of reasons why you decided not to prosecute Hillary? A lot of people in your Trump cabinet are going to be questioning it. Joe Arpaio, I would think, would be asking you, Donald, why aren't you pursuing Barack Obama born in Kenya? Because all the evidence points to a forged birth certificate. And, by the way, now that you admit maybe climate change is happening, thanks for that. Don't you think a lot of your people are a little confused that now you think climate change is happening? They're going to be really pissed off when you agree with cap and trade now, Donald. What's to think that you aren't going to become a cap and trade endorser? Donald J. Trump now believes in climate change. Yeah, he's reversing all over the place. This guy's flip-flopping. I've got to play my Donald Trump flip-flop dedication song from the 1960s. It's just so fun. It kind of brings back memories. It triggers endorphins in my head. Those days when I was watching the dolphins innocently romp around in the in the ocean, and I was watching Clipper. Dun, 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 Flipper, Flipper. So he flipped again, man. It's just unbelievable. I mean, the fence is now going to be built. It's not going to be a wall after all. So he's taking my idea verbatim. When he tried to develop his wall, he's landed flat on his face with his pundits. He also wants to bring in Nigel Farage as some sort of an English two-coat guy. Like we should be in bed with England. What the hell's wrong with this guy? And he wants to get Russia involved too. I mean, this guy is all over the place. It's fenced now, yeah. The wall's out, fence is back in. He likes my original idea so much he's going to bring it back. Oh, Dave, you're such a comical guy. You would almost think after nearly 10 years, everyone would think this is a nightly comedy show. Donald J. Trump, it can't even get near your comedy when you started in, for no reason, making a big issue about the Hamilton play in New York that Pence went to. Yeah, your tweets were all over the place, man. Why don't you just focus on your transition team instead of piping in where you don't need to meddle, Mr. Trump? Yeah. It's just unbelievable. He just comes out with endless Trump stories as if we need to know how he feels about Hamilton. All the actors are saying is respect all people no matter what their color. And Trump made it into a big deal. Like they were targeting Pence and oh my God, this guy's seriously might have some issues. Any of you have any psychiatric background? Or do we have any doctors of psychiatry in here? Yeah, I'm not an expert on psychology, but I can tell you when a person is that defensive about something and he's got nothing to do, what the hell's going on? He backpedaled on everything, yeah. He's backpedaling on the Hamilton tweet. I have no media time. I've had no media time. I've been no media time, Donald J. Trump. We're going to mute you. You've had all the media time. Breaking news. Preparation H could help reduce hemorrhoid swelling. Zombie Reagan raised from grave to lead the GOP. No, that would be me. This is from the end.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since we're determined this Monday to make way for Reagan's walking corpse. There's P-ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Passionately about it.
Ad appeared in a series.
Well, I think that's ridiculous. To think that Ronald Reagan's zombie corpse could do better than Donald Trump is a stretch.
Okay. Dave, you were on TV when you... No, that's just not true. We're going to ban you. IRC's been banned. Okay, let's get guest chat in here. Come on, guests. You're better than some of these other scumbags. Breaking news. Doobster took a phys class but flunked the day I smoked a bowl. Oh, really? A physics course you took? Communism has never come to power in a country that was not disrupted by war or corruption, or both. Well, John F. Kennedy was right about that. Our country is corrupted by war and corruption, and disrupted for that reason, yeah. Some of you are sexting right now with people like Anthony Weiner. I don't know. Do you want to pipe in on anything like that? We can discuss. How come out of 650,000 emails that, according to James Comey, who should have been fired months ago, was enough to stop the election and claim that they're reopening the investigation 5 days before the election day? How come not one single email is migrated to the court to file charges? Out of 650,000 emails from Wiener's laptop, not one migrated to the court. I smell a rat. I definitely smell a rat. Somebody says that the tweets were efforts to do mass distraction. So Vice President Pence, President-elect Pence gets booed at the Hamilton show. Let's play the video. This is what happened when he went there. But really, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Pence wasn't that strung out. Donald got all in a hissy. He got all his panties in a bunch. I enabled guest chat. Apparently I have to turn slow off too. There you go. Digging begins at a mysterious American site. Remember I said it the other night? Anybody can dig a hole. It takes money to fill it in. Well, archaeologists...
Hey, Live Leakers. Archaeologists have begun digging at what they believe to be the original site of Roanoke Island, America's first English settlement. It's a very mysterious site because no one knows whatever happened to the colony of Roanoke. An explorer found the colony on August 18, 1590. He found it abandoned, no trace of the settlers, and the place had been completely...
No one knows what it's like to be booed at, to be yelled at, like Mike Pence, the VP-elect. No one knows what it's like to feel alienated. Hey, let's check. I can't seem to understand why I can't play this video, but I'll give it one more shot. The booing video, let's see. It's taking time. So the digging of the mysterious Roanoke colony goes on and on and on. Donald is in a hissy fit over the Hamilton thing. He got his panties in a bunch. Yeah, it was kind of weird. He better get used to the booing. Pence is going to be booed by a lot of people. I think Donald Trump is the most hated, not popular presidential elect in the history of this country. I don't recall any of this happening when Richard Nixon was president, and nobody liked him, except the Republicans. My fellow Americans, I am not a crook. But actually, you know, Nixon would be kind of like not a crook in comparison to the people today in government. It's almost as if we've got the biggest cronies on earth here. By today's standards, Nixon would be probably Mr. Honesty. He probably went up against the Illuminati at one point. I was saying this in the pre-show, that when he and Ronald Reagan went to the Bohemian Grove together. Oh yeah, you can see pictures of them if you look for it on the internet. In fact, I guess that's all we're going to get of the boo is the audio you just got. Reagan and Nixon at Bohemian Grove. Yeah, it's a historic picture. Well, I could only imagine how this went with the two of them sitting there. Richard Nixon is listening to this guy, this fruitcake, talk about probably sacrificing the owl or the cremation of care. And I'm sure in the back room, Ronald was going,
well, Dick, this doesn't seem like a normal group of heterosexuals. It sounds more like they're more like my son, Ron Jr.
I know, it's absolutely deplorable, Ronald. I've never been around more homos in my life. I don't know where they're at or where they're going.
Well, you're right, and I think if we could just get out of here and smoke a doobie, we could forget about all this nonsense about sacrificing an owl and cremation of care.
You're absolutely right. I'm going to make a point of not mentioning Watergate to you, Ronald.
Hey, I think they stuck Watergate on Nixon. I'm beginning to respect Nixon over the years. I can't believe that a guy, ordered the death of all these innocent people around Southeast Asia. They say 4 million people died as a result of Nixon. I'm beginning to think he was taking orders from somebody to kill off all those people. Seriously. I'm beginning to think that the world is being controlled by somebody with lots and lots of money. Okay, there's a question that came up in a video. Kanye West has been taken in for psychiatric emergency care. He was a big supporter of Trump, and I think realizing that Trump's flipping on all these issues kind of pushed Kanye over the edge. But we've got the full interview on the Ellen show here. That'll be good. We'll play that later, I guess. Thanks. Families are avoiding each other because of election bitterness and results. Yeah, I almost think Thanksgiving tables are going to be emptier this year because no one wants to sit at the table listening to some guy go, "Boy, I sure am glad that Trump won. He's going to make America great again." And all these liberal family members are going, "Oh my God, could someone just give this guy a brain cell, please? Pass the potatoes, thanks you. Gravy, please." Yeah. We don't talk about Trump at our dinner table because he's so divisive, and he's chosen to be such a divisive character. I'm not a communist, and I'm not a government agent either. I truly am just trying to help things out by talking about the truth every night. And you can say what you want about me, but all I'm doing is what I can, and nobody else has the balls to do it. If Eric is the one that swatted us, I need to find this out. You need to send information, credible information to us. Who made the rule about no talking politics or religion? Yeah, really. I mean, I would rather talk politics at the dinner table than anything, but it's a point of argumentation at every holiday table. I'd rather talk about, I think, just the weather, but then you get the guy at the table like me and says, "Oh yeah, they're dumping chemtrails on everybody's head," and everyone turns and goes, "Oh no, not another whack job statement from him." Yeah, but we are being dumped on with chemtrails. Oh, shut up, David. Nobody wants to hear that. I'm sure some of you run the risk of talking about chemtrails at the dinner table. Trump is going to be the worst president on earth because he simply doesn't have any clue as to the ramifications of his statements. He seriously needs intervention. I don't know what the hell, man. Hey, you guys want to get to the truth behind the moon landing? Well, we went to the moon and took 5 photos. This girl went to the bathroom and took 37 photos. Which is more likely to be true? Kanye was handcuffed when hauled off to the hospital. Well, they said they weren't going to, get a direct confrontation between him and the police, but I don't know if this is a willingness by Kanye to just go ahead and get himself arrested for treatment. I can't really get a gauge on this. It does kind of reek of MK Ultra, especially with his wife going off and having that diamond heist that some people say she might have been involved in. The jewelry heist that she had, $10 million of jewelry taken from her? I mean, this could be a lot of weight coming down on the rapper. Y'all know that he's been handcuffed, and they brought him in. I still think it's because Trump disillusioned him about, flipping on all these issues. He just can't handle it. Whoa, there he is. And he's thinking, maybe, handcuffed. He's been taken to UCLA Medical Center for psychiatric evaluation. That's all we know right now. Oh, sources say, connected to Kanye, says he was getting checked out for severe sleep deprivation. Yeah, we don't want him to get on propofol or that thing that Michael Jackson was on when he had to sleep, It's going good, man. Dave Tacular is one of the 150 million accounts, really? I didn't know that. Ellen deserves her medal. Okay, Dave Tacular. I don't know what to believe anymore. Hey, hi, Psychobehavior. Welcome. You're out there still in Asia trying to navigate your way out of the countries. Obama awards his last presidential medals of freedom.
Just on a personal note.
Part of the reason that these events are so special to me is because everybody on this stage has touched me in a very powerful personal way, in ways that they probably couldn't imagine. Whether it was having been inspired by a song or a game or a story or a film or a monument, or in the case of mental if we fall for, you know, a bunch of sounds provocative, tweets funny, sounds provocative, tweets funny, sounds provocative, tweets funny, sounds provocative, tweets funny, sounds provocative, tweets funny,
Bing, bing. No, she's got this goofy friend, and she's a basket case. Donald Trump. Oh, boy. Goofus.
Yes, I know my mic is off. Don't even think I'm talking during my mic when it's off. No, Trump hasn't contacted me. If he did, he would be foolish because he knows that he's taken ideas from me and he would only be giving me press. He doesn't want to give me any unnecessary press. And he's smart to avoid that. And I can respect that simply because he knows that once I get some unnecessary press, it's like a slippery slope. I'm going to get all kinds of press. So Trump just doesn't cut it. He's already flipped on about 5 key issues a lot of you voted for him on. Right. YouTube says that I'm monetized. Warner Brothers claims they're making money on me. I know. Yeah, thank you for that. Let me explain our challenge that we had. We have never received a dime from our shows. But let me explain the challenge we had on YouTube. We could not broadcast unless we partnered up with YouTube. That means simply that you partner up, not that you're receiving monetization. But in the process of partnering up, you have to be exposed to monetization. And that means that people who find anything on your show worth monetizing can apply for monetization. It in no way means that we're receiving a penny from that. We don't receive a dime from any of the videos we have. It's just their way of giving us the ability to do what is called a live feed. And we had to partner up in order to do the live feed. Just so you know. I can't put any money from the YouTube money, I can't put 400,000 views of $800 toward anything. And plus you can't get hit counter views on views that have already been not monetized. You have to have views from this point on to get monetized. And I'm not seeking to make money on this. I've done this show for no money whatsoever. I haven't received a penny from this for 8 years. It's simply because I believe in what I'm doing and it's irrelevant to get money. especially when I'm maintaining 100% FEC approval. So profiting from YouTube is not allowed at the FEC level. You can't direct it toward your campaign, so I have never done that. Well, I can't give you a green light in any way, psychobehaviors, simply because I am not aligned with any country outside of the United States. This is strictly an American operation, and in no way can I give you a green light to do anything in any other country. Yeah, when the government fears the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. Thomas Jefferson. So as much as I'd love to be able to profit from opportunities that knock, I can't. Trump already knows exactly who I am, 266, and he's been tracking our show nightly. We have proof of it. We have proof that he's been in touch with his son, Eric, about our show. The Twitter CEO scrubs his account. The Twitter CEO gets rid of DMs, Pizzagate, and Twittergate. Wow. So the CEO of Twitter, from here on out, the ride's going to be rowdy. Okay, so now it's a question, will the intranet that they want to construct, which is controlled and doesn't allow any access to hashtag Pizzagate, will it survive the very censorship from the owner himself, the CEO? Buckle up, folks. This is going to be interesting. Okay. I don't really know the answer to what's going on with this Pizzagate. All I can tell you is we need to keep prying into it, because it does reveal the connection to Bill Clinton, Hillary, and Donald to Jeffrey Epstein. This all winds back, all roads lead to Jericho, in my opinion. No, we didn't get married. Sarah and I will only get married in the Oval Office, or excuse me, in the Rose Garden. We could do the reception in the Oval Office. What is Pizzagate and Twittergate, and why is Kanye West involved? Really? That's an interesting story. Okay, just when you thought Pizzagate couldn't get any more bizarre, it's taken another turn. We know that Podesta is involved, and we've seen all kinds of fake stories coming out of Podesta about aliens and all kinds of diversion tactics. We got that last night. Apparently, Podesta's got this story about aliens he's running just to take the eyes and the world view off of his incriminating evidence that he and his brother look just like the abductors of Madeleine McCain in Portugal. Kanye West, for those who have not followed this story, Pizzagate blew up last week. It was reported by the Inquisitor that claims had emerged stating that Hillary Clinton and her former campaign manager, John Podesta, are part of a pedophile ring that operates out of a popular Washington, D.C. pizza place called Comet Ping Pong. It seems that the claims emerged as part of a WikiLeaks release of some of Podesta's emails. The source of the original Pizzagate story seems to have come from a post on the social media platform Reddit. The poster claims that the pizza restaurant is at the center of the giant Western pedophilia ring. It's claimed that a network of pedophiles extends across the political spectrum in Washington and alleges that there are links to Clinton Foundation. The Reddit writer explained how Comet Ping Pong appeared to be the epicenter of the underground ring. While initially not the central focus of the investigation at the onset, Comet Ping Pong is a much more overt and much more disturbing hub of coincidences. Everyone associated with the business is making semi-overt, semi-tongue-in-cheek, and semi-sarcastic inferences towards sex with minors. The artists that work for and with the business also generate nothing but cultish imagery of disembodiment, blood, beheadings, sex, and of course pizza. Of course, most people wrote of Pizzagate as a wild conspiracy theory, but then along came Twittergate. UK tabloid The Daily Star explained that Twittergate emerged after a gamer known only as Molly claimed to have uncovered a massive pedophilia ring on the social media site Twitter. Molly claims to have a computer program that allowed her to search for a network of accounts that are linked to each other, and says she discovered a huge network sharing obscene images of children. Molly claims that after putting all the names onto a public database on Reddit, she received death threats and offers of bribes from people who wanted their names removed from the list, just to add to the evidence concerning Twittergate. The social media site stoked the fires of the conspiracy theorists when they banned Molly's account. Gotcha. Why is Kanye West involved? Most of the world will by now know that Kanye West has been hospitalized, reportedly suffering from exhaustion and sleep deprivation. Kanye has canceled the remainder of his tour after having a meltdown at a concert in Sacramento. It's probably fair to say that the last thing Kanye needs right now is to be at the center of another controversy. Sadly, for West, controversy rarely strays far from his door. During Kanye's onstage meltdown in Sacramento, he directed part of his tirade at Hillary Clinton. Now it seems the conspiracy theorists believe that Kanye has been got at because he was about to reveal the truth behind Pizzagate and Twittergate. Apparently, West did mention Pizzagate during his meltdown, so now rumors are emerging that Kanye has been silenced. Wow, okay, the story gets weirder and weirder. The more these people know, being married to a Kardashian, he's at the very forefront. I don't know if it's a publicity stunt. No, Madeleine McCann is not a hoax. This whole story is legitimate. You could even be COINTELPRO, guess 128. You could even be a government employee trying to drop negative things about the whole story right now. Yeah, we don't know that. Look at how can you dispute the simple fact that these two guys look identical to the wanted pictures of the people that abducted Madeleine McCann in Portugal? How can you ignore the fact that Tony and John look just like the abductors, and they were literally 15 minutes away at a hotel in Portugal when the abduction occurred? How can you avoid this? This is like the truth blaring at you with a laser beam. Yes, and elites are known to be pedophiles. The reason why Donald Trump, gotta go, psycho behavior, take care. The reason why Donald Trump will not in any way reveal more about Hillary Clinton, and he's even saying he's not going to prosecute her now. You Trump people need to realize he's not going to go after Hillary, just like I said. The reason is all of it leads back to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I'd like to say that these pedos that Richard Nixon talked about, these freaks and homosexuals at the Bohemian Grove, are not at the root of the problem. But unfortunately, it is all connected. The truth of the matter is, our government, under the FBI, canceled a Nebraska State Police investigation into pedophilia during the 1990s, the late 90s. A group called the Franklin Group was working out of Boys Town, Nebraska, and they were running a pedophilia ring. And the Nebraska State Police investigated this, and they were told by the FBI to cease all investigations. So when we get closer to this simple fact that he's involved, then we get to the reality that Jeffrey Epstein is also connected. You don't have to go very far to connect the dots here, folks. This known pedophile, who is a close friend of Bill Clinton's and a close friend of Donald Trump's, is at the center of the thing they're trying to crush, the story they're trying to crush. I know that Trump will be a lot like Bush Jr. Yeah, he won't do anything different. In fact, he'll get us deeper into war with Russia. He's already mismanaged the whole situation with Russia. Had Trump gone ahead and said that, sorry to interject, but had Trump already said to Russia that we'd be pulling our rebel troop support, I would say that Trump is on a good track. But he's not saying that. Automatically makes me think. And Scissor Fight just gave me information. Dave, they were at Sigmund Freud's grandson's vacation home in Portugal at the time, a third of a mile away. So about 15 minutes away, 5 minutes away, whatever. Right, so John and his brother Tony were at the home of Sigmund Freud's grandson in Portugal, 1/3 of a mile away from the abduction of Madeleine McCann. We don't know if this girl is still alive or not. We don't know. They're still investigating. Preparation age, that's an irrelevant question. No, I told you I was going to play the video about me later tonight. I haven't seen it yet. It's a David Sponheim 3-minute support video. Sorry, Larry. Yeah. Scissor's a straight guy. He's totally honest. We really respect Scissor Fight's work. So to back up my statement that George Bush Jr. is still occupying the Trump cabinet, you see all the same faces now. Because Trump couldn't handle the transition team very effectively and still hasn't picked a Secretary of State. Okay, I'll play this video. We're already into the final minutes of the video, of the minutes. Okay, where should I start at the beginning or middle of the video or toward the end? Scissor Fight, because it's queued up toward the end. I understand the FBI are involved. That's why I'm saying they want to investigate. This is my point. Look at folks, there's only one operation that will derail the corruption that leads to what we have today. And that's a third party. The only way the voters of America are going to get any answers from these weird, corrupt people who have obviously consigned their soul to Satan or whatever. I mean, you don't even have to be a believer in God to know that evil exists in minds of certain people. Okay, right where it's cute. Okay, Scissor Fight, thank you. Flanker's still off 4 or 5 weeks ago talking about draining the swamp. Donald Trump is one of the lizards in the swamp. I'm sorry to say, but you got real problems in your hands here. You guys bought the lie. And if you Trump people would just understand that this is not in any way going to change. Trump is a close friend of Hillary. She's backing him. She's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything to investigate her. It'll only show information about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. No, I'm not going to go to Hamilton's screening in New York with you. I'm sorry. But thanks for inviting me. It's very kind of you. Well, look, at the bottom line is accusations of pedophilia are flying left and right. All I said was that Donald Trump is a friend of Jeffrey Epstein and was named in the black book of Jeffrey Epstein. I never called Donald Trump a pedo. I've never said those words. And I've never ever implied that he had a cocaine problem either. All I did was talk about his snorting issues during the debate. So you got to understand, I walk a very, very fine line, at least giving Donald Trump a modicum of respect, being he is apparently stepping into the shoes of the presidency. But bear in mind, I am not going to hold back on the investigation on the internet of Podesta's, Clinton Gate, Pizzagate, and even Epstein Gate. In no way are we going to stop that, because it's been sitting out there on the blogosphere for 7 years and the mainstream won't even talk about it. Yeah, Joe Biden. Let's show a clip of Joe Biden with a little girl. This is just absolutely bizarre. If you haven't seen this clip, folks, it's going to shock you. And then he's our vice president right now during the transition. Here's Joe Biden. Check this out.
Times when he gently rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's something pervy here as he leans in for a kiss.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, come on, slide in here.
I don't have the link to that. Maybe Scissor Fight has that. I think we've covered all the bases tonight. I think there wasn't... Well, thank you very much. You should be getting scared. Yeah, you weren't scared 8 years ago when I started this plan? Wow. Kurt Russell, you've got something interesting. What do you have?
So this story comes...
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting story about Trump. Now, again, we're not saying that Trump is in any way a pedo. We're merely saying alleged groping cases have migrated through the press. This story is equally disturbing.
Us from Jen Hayden at the Daily Costs. And so, looks like Donald Trump puts his foot in his mouth again. So, in an Entertainment Tonight Christmas feature in 1992, Trump looked at a group of young girls and said he would be dating one of them in 10 years. At the time, Trump would have been 46 years old. The video released Wednesday evening was shot at Trump Tower. In the clip, Trump asks one of the girls if she's going up the escalator. When the girl replies, yeah, Trump turns to the camera and says, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Wow. So, my thing is, okay, so here's the thing. They keep coming up on all this, all of a sudden, all of this media stuff and all of these different videotapes and hot mics and all of that. They're coming up on this stuff on Trump. And not that I'm defending him, I'm not, but I just find it peculiar they're bringing up all this dirt on him, but they're not talking about the guy that the DOJ just let off, dropped all federal charges against him in the state of Arizona for his drug running, where he was
Okay, so turning the audio on has always been a problem whenever I turn it off. Just bear with me. The video that Trump has made of a 10-year-old statement that he made about a 10-year-old girl is indicative of a series of questions that a lot of people have right now. In no way am I going to be able to, clarify any answers for you because I myself don't understand what's going on right now. This is all new to me. No, Mike? I'm up. I have never seen such corruption. I looked into this back in 2013 when I did the video, Missing Kids Cover-Up, on YouTube. And it's out there right now. You can see it if you want to get the whole story. But this dates back to the 90s, a movie by the name of Conspiracy of Silence. And I edited down the movie of Conspiracy of Silence and put it out on YouTube, calling it the Missing Kids Cover-Up. And it was a dedication to the work of Nancy Schaefer, who died in a murder-suicide we don't think was caused by her husband or her. We think she was shunned and shut down. And I'll give you the link to that. It's pretty simple. It gives you a full perspective, 26 minutes, edited down on the kind of abuse that's been going on in our country. And it's been shielded by the FBI and U.S. government agencies who are hiding this pedophilia network.
From missingkids.com, law enforcement has been unable to piece together who has taken or who has abducted these children. Police have failed. This has been investigated at the state level. At the federal level, the FBI has prevented deep investigations into these missing kids.
Okay, I want everybody to know that I simply muted the mics to get these videos to play properly so you can hear them. If I don't mute the mics, oftentimes we have reverb and feedback. So yeah, Dr. Eggart, we're going to mute you too. I've got 8 years under my belt, and I've had about 3 mic errors tonight. I rarely have mic errors. And I'll tell you something. The reason why I'm so flustered, not only is it John F. Kennedy's, memory of his death, but I really think we are right now looking through the looking glass into the most corrupt country we've ever seen in our history. Folks, there's 388 kids missing so far in 2016. MissingKids.com, I assume you got that there. Every year, close to 50,000 kids go missing. So here's the link to the Missing Kids video. It's called Missing Kids Cover Up. Have fun with it. In the meantime, we're going to look at the more recent times and find out what the Podestas really are involved in, allegedly. No, I don't mind admitting that the microphone issue is the last of my concerns tonight. I really don't mind admitting that. Normally I'm right on top of it, but I am overwhelmed with negative stories that are just migrating all over the place. Today alone, flip-flopping on 4 major issues Trump did. Almost immediately, as soon as the transition team is in shambles, he still can't commit to a Secretary of State. He put Jared Kushner, a Goldman Sachs employee, and his son-in-law with top secret status. Unbelievable, bizarre things. Apparently, Kushner is upset because Chris Christie apparently had a legal action against his family. Anyway, it's a long story, but there's a big cat fight going on in Trump's cabinet, or soon-to-be cabinet, and it's not pretty. So, yeah, 50,000 fully disappear in America. Trump's campaign was all full of lies, Dave. Yeah, exactly. This statistic is pretty good. Guest 5308 said 33,388 missing so far this year. So that's serious. We can't forget that a lot of families are losing their kids and mothers are killing themselves. There's suicides. I heard of one who was connected to a person who's in our show. He called me up and said his sister died, killed herself because she had her kids taken away. Yeah, all the kids are like 10, 9, 10. These kids are being sucked into the CPS system, and CPS is doling them out to pedos. There was a guy in White Plains, New York, who was recently arrested, who was implicated in the CPS case. CPS ignored all kinds of complaints about this guy. And let me give you his story. It's Long Island, New York. Alleged Long Island pedophile was investigated 9 times since 1998 for abusing foster kids, but authorities did nothing. I'm telling you, this is a rampant problem in the country. I'm glad we're looking at it. At the very least, we should look at this as a serious beginning to stopping the corruption. But this is the sick bastard that got these about 100 kids. The Long Island foster dad from hell was branded a molester 9 times, starting nearly 2 decades ago.
Inside the home of Cesar Gonzalez Mugaburu, the pedophile foster parent that preyed upon boys, is a shrine to films of every genre. New York Daily News was allowed to look inside what the predator called a home while he sexually abused children and a pet dog. There are dozens of collectibles surrounded by movie posters. From Dreamgirls to Phantom of the Opera, Gonzalez Mugaburu had a waterbed, dirty comforters, and a VHS porn tape entitled Swedish Erotica Volume 9. Just a few feet away were a set of handcuff keys on a dresser. A man who was once a foster child there, identified only as Daniel, said he would lock me in the room for up to a month. He would take my hearing aid, put it to the side so I couldn't hear. I was sexually abused before I came here. Then it happened here. The tormentor was also accused of having sex with a female dog in front of a child. Gonzales Mugaburu received as much as $2,200 to $2,400 per child per month as a foster parent. He cared for 6 and 8 children at a time since 1996. For nearly 20 years, prosecutors said, the boys living with their abuser were sheltered from the community. Gonzales Mugaburu is being held on $1 million bail and is being charged with child endangerment, sexual misconduct, and the abuse of a dog in a 17-count indictment.
All right, this sick bastard got away with this since 1998. I know, I got the audio thing down, thanks. The CPS officer that was a delinquent in not arresting this guy over the 9 reported cases since 1998 and still giving this guy foster kids to take care of should be arrested and tried. The CPS officer. He should actually serve time for allowing this guy to molest over 100 boys. And each boy brought $1,200 a month in revenue in New York. Okay, I just had to give you guys some specifics. I'll give you the New York Daily News clip here. Yeah, so believe me, out of this sick election, maybe we're getting to the sickest of corruption in our government right now. And maybe if we follow this path, it'll take us right back to the White House. I'm telling you, it's a known fact that Donald Trump was in Jeffrey Epstein's blacklist. Now, I'm not making any allegations that are untrue. This is all factual evidence and needs to be brought up. No, really, seriously. You Trump supporters need to look into this. If you haven't looked into the Jeffrey Epstein connection, then you're missing the whole purpose of this show. I mean, we're here to bring out evidence that you need to look at. And because our free press doesn't work, we're about as close as you're going to get to the free press. Any other show out there that's making money on AdSense, I don't trust them as much as just people doing the right thing. And that's what we are doing here. So again, I'm going to close with this reality check for a lot of you Trump supporters. Here is the image of Epstein's black book that the butler grabbed, showing Donald Trump's name at the top of the list, making calls back and forth to Jeffrey Epstein. This is legitimate, factual evidence that will stand up in court. It cannot be discredited. Alan Dershowitz is trying desperately to discredit this story and this evidence, and he's not going to be able to do it. There's just too much preponderance of evidence linking Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. At this point, I'm not planning on suing anyone right now. Thank you for watching. I don't want to say no more. Okay. No, I'm not mentally ill. You guys have no clue as to how super sane people operate, do you? Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming in. The Boys Club. Yeah, that was the Nebraska. If you want to do some research on it, Nebraska Boys Town. And it was the Franklin group. And I'll give you the link to the Missing Kids video as well, which I think is a really good video that I did. It took the best parts of the Conspiracy of Silence video and put it together. Check it out. It's a mind blower, man. If you haven't checked out the death of Nancy Schaefer and the fact that it's been covered up by our leader, all the police reports have completely covered up the fact that these people are being murder-suicided left and right in this country. I don't have any Kosovo files. Everything on the darknet is a lie. And I've openly said that I'd gladly take a lie detector test to verify that. And we'll finally leave you with a quote. John F. Kennedy said, "There are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction." It's a very good quote. Hey, we're all waking up together, folks. A lot of suicides have happened, yeah. The lady, Deborah Palfrey, who was a woman who knew all the Washington Madam, you know, she said on Alex Jones' show, and Alex asked her twice, "Are you going to commit suicide?" She said, "I would never do that." The next day, she was found hanging in her shed out in the backyard. Suicided. Killed by what is probably some sort of, well, there's a lot of questions as to how these suicidings occur, but it's usually done through a garrote. They garrote the person, and they twist a rope around their neck, and then they hang them up, and they make it look like a suicide. My shirts are not really of question. I like my shirts look great, yeah. I'm still looking for a lower cost shirts at the thrift store in case one fits me. This is a little loose, but I like a loose collar, thank you. Well, this is the deal. They get you in a compromising situation. They hold a gun to your head, and they say they're going to kill you either way, and then they just choke you, or they catch you in a compromised situation and choke you from behind, garrote you, and then string you up. That's how it's done. I've never, I can't imagine a more perfect sealed suiciding a case than the case of Deborah Palfrey, where she openly said she would never commit suicide. The next day she's found hanging in her closet, and the police never even questioned it. She was hanging in a shed out back. No, I'm not disheveled. I'm feeling great. You know, I don't really care about your assessment of the big clip shirt. Vince Foster looked like he was shot twice. And there could be, you know, indications that he was even killed in the White House. And his body moved out away from the White House. Play the clip? Okay. Here is the final 2 minutes of the Podesta link between Portugal. And thanks again, everybody, in advance. We'll be doing a nighttime video show all the way to 2 in the morning. Take care.
Freud was out of the country when Madeline was abducted. However, his home had been loaned to his friends, John and Tony Podesta.